Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, and the channel is all about fountain pen therapy. Oh man, am I excited to present to you this video. I've been meaning to do this video for some time, but out of the three instruments that you've seen in the introduction, there was one of them that kept me from actually doing the video, and I'll explain that in a while. But finally I got the nib that I wanted on that pen, and as soon as I got it, I said, I've got to do the video. And this challenge is something that I will enjoy doing it, or we're going to do it as, we're just going to wing it. In other words, I haven't done this, prepared for this and done experimenting with each of the pens. No, we're going to go off, do what we need to do, and pronounce ourselves at the end of it. So no bias there. It's going to be whatever I feel, it's going to be it. But that's the challenge. And let me tell you, it's going to be a lot of fun. So Fountain Pen Therapy is proud to present the challenge. Yes, the battle of the iconic Inlaid nibs. Okay, so we're back. What I propose is that we take a look at each pen, just an overall overview of what they look like and some of their main features. I'm not going to do a detailed review of each because these pens have either been reviewed by me before and they've been reviewed by, tons of reviewers. But I do want to put things into context. Therefore, we'll go to my overhead camera and let's see what I've got for you. So here are the three gorgeous, gorgeous writing instruments, okay? First of all, it gives you an idea of the size of each when they're capped, okay? Of course, the EDSON is the biggest, both in length and girth. What makes, I think, the EDSON is this combination of this, I don't know what it is, if it's acrylic with an inner lining. I know they have it in red and they have it in green, and I'm looking forward to finding another deal because if I do, I'm going to get them. That clip is just so majestic. It's overpowering. The cap is just gorgeous. Okay, and the combination makes it such that this pen, I think, is just absolutely, absolutely outstanding. The innovator that I call the innovator, it all started, of course, with the SHEAFFER. It's got the white dot, which means the luxury brands, or at least that's what it meant some time ago. This pen, like the EDSON, is no longer being sold. So you got to buy it used somewhere. I know that the SHEAFFER comes in various models. There's the Legacy 1, Legacy 2, different materials, so you can even get them in silver. For example, I've got two of them. I've got this other one, which is got kind of a combination of a black top or cap and bottom. He's got a little line there just to give it a little twist. This has got a gold colored nib. This has got a silver colored nib. So you can find them in all kinds of variations. But there again, very, very nice. Again, kind of metalish. I'm not sure what this metal is. Maybe aluminum. It looks like some kind of there's a certain texture to it. Okay. Then this is the CARENE. This is I call it the Survivor because it's the only one of the three that's still being sold today. This is the black version, which is, in my view, the cheapest you can find in the market. You can find it in amber, you can find it in green, you can find it in all kinds of colors. But from what I understand, this is probably the cheapest you can find. They're now coming up also with, they got these fancy caps, that you can buy it with. I bought the basic model, but this is the one that unfortunately was stopping me from doing this video because I had purchased it on Amazon at a great price, but with a fine nib. And I got to tell you folks, the fine nib did not impress me at all. So I was waiting for another one to come up for air or on a good deal, but in medium. And then it wasn't coming. I just couldn't find them. Everything overpriced. So what I did is I just bought the section. You can actually buy the nib section at a very decent price. And that's what I did. Now I have the medium, and now I'm able to, in my view, really give this pen, some value. And I think now it can rival against the other two. So there you have the pens uncapped. Capped, I should say. Let's take a look at the pens uncapped, sorry. In terms of size, and then we can take a look at what's inside of each. Okay, let me just shift that. As you could see, the Innovator, the SHEAFFER is the smallest in terms of length. The longest is, of course, the giant, the EDSON, and my Survivor is just slightly smaller, but very, 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 very still very nice size. When you put the pen in your hand, the SHEAFFER Legacy is very nice size, very comfortable, and these inlaid nibs are what makes these pens. It's just, you can put your finger all over that, and it doesn't really smudge or anything. These pens don't leak. They don't dry up on you. The nib is stiff. But most of them, although this Legacy, because it's got a thinner shape to it, does have just a slight bounce, but not much. Generally speaking, you can expect very stiff nibs. But because they're so smooth, as we shall see, they almost feel soft. So that's the SHEAFFER. Does it post? Yes, it does. It posts extremely comfortably. Let me just turn it so it's aligned. Very comfortable. It sits really there, even though it adds a bit of weight, but I would say it even adds comfort, if you will. So no problem with posting this pen, as you can see. Very, very comfortable. CARENE is even longer, much slimmer than the rest, but a nice slim, I would say to you. It's got some weight to it because there's some metal in there, and sits very comfortably. No need to be posted, but if you wish to post this pen, it posts very comfortably. Now I got to tell you that the cap does give it some weight, but there again, because it sits at the right place in your hand, at least on my hand, very comfortable, not back weighted at all, very comfortable. All these pens you can write with them long term or long writing sessions without any issues. The EDSON is the longest of them all. It's got some girth. I like the girth personally, but again, can be posted because it's got that slimish look at top, although I would say it's just slightly back weighted. It does, most of the weight does end up there, at least on my hand, but I would say to you a little bit back weighted, but nothing that would prevent you from posting this pen, even for long writing sessions, I would say to you. Now, in terms of the nibs, See, this is, the nib here is just spectacular. It's got that design, so it gives it kind of just a really giant look. It's got these two knobs here that help the capping. Okay, they're all snap caps. The CARENE is probably the smallest looking nib, but don't let it fool you. It's got quite a bit of power, as we shall see. And then in between, you've got the Innovator, the Legacy, which does have also a very nice design there, as you can see. Just beautiful pens. So those are the pens, I think, essentially on the outside. The capping, all caps very nicely. The seals are very, very good. None of these pens dry on you. Mine are all cartridge converters. The special cartridge on this thing is that I think it's glass. It's got a kind of a blue tint. You can't see it now because of the ink. It's got even a blue, just a converter top here. Got an O-ring there to make sure that when you screw it in, it stays in nice and tight. So nice feature. Same thing for your CARENE. It's got a cartridge converter, O-rings, metal on metal, I would say to you. Very well built, solid. Same thing for your Legacy. As you can see, nice metal. I think it even has a slight O-ring there, if I'm not mistaken. But again, seals very nicely. Not a problem in terms of that barrel unscrewing on you suddenly. So there you have the pens, folks. So I think that does it for the design and features. Now let's really look at what makes these pens, in my view, are those nibs. And we'll put them to some writing and see what gives. I will be right back. Okay, so we're back. First of all, the paper is Tomo River paper. I've got an A4 size in landscape mode, so I've divided the paper into three, one for each pen, of course, and we'll do writing. The writing samples we'll do side by side so we can really have a fun comparison. So the first one, the Innovator. Which is the SHEAFFER Legacy. And this particular model is the Legacy 2. The nib is an 18 karat, and it's a medium. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is the EDSON, that I call the Giant. The nib on this is an 18 karat, and it's a stub. And I'm quiet because I wanted you to appreciate how quiet that pen really is. But we'll get to that in a second. And then here is my Survivor. I am so glad I got the medium nib. It makes all the difference in my view. I know some of you like the fine. I just didn't like it. In fact, I was so disappointed that I was wondering what the fuss was all about. But with that change, now I understand. Okay, so let's look at some of the features. First of all, smoothness. I would say to you that this is very, very smooth with a hint of feedback. Nice feedback. So for those of you who like feedback, no problem here. Wetness. I mean, all of these three pens are very wet, just a question of degree. I would say that is very, very wet. Okay. Next on my list, I would put bounce. I would, let me just say, and I know it's a contradiction in terms, soft stiff. By what I mean by that is just got a little bit of a softness to it. But it is stiff. There's really no major give there, but it's just a little soft. And we'll compare it to the others in a second. What else are we? Okay, consistency. I mean, all of these are 10 on 10. None of these pens have a consistency problem. They write, always write, no drawing issues, no hard starts. Very, very, very performing. Okay. And I guess we could do reverse writing. I'm going to stop right there. It's a little scratchy. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's doable, but you have to go very soft, and I would say extra fine there. Not ideal. Not ideal. I wouldn't play around with it, and I just the thought of me doing that it disturbs me. I don't want to ruin the nib in any way. Now let's look at the Giant. Smoothness. I mean, if that's VVS, very, very, this is very, 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 very smooth. And it's quiet. No feedback. Completely silent. Wetness. I would say very, very, very wet. Even more. In all fairness, it is a stub, so you would expect that. Okay. Bounce. Not applicable. Very stiff. Consistency, as I mentioned, just a beautiful pen. 10 on 10 again. Fast writing. You can go in all directions. This pen never lets go. Very nice. Okay. Reverse writing. I'm not even going to try it. There is no reverse writing on with this pen, so I don't even want to venture there. Okay. Let's do the CARENE. Smoothness. This is 2 V's. That's 4 V's. This is 3 V's. Just slight, I don't know how to say, I would say kind of a silent feedback. In other words, let me explain. If the hint of feedback is there and this is silent, that one's in between the two. Just a little less than the Legacy, but has got some feedback as opposed to the EDSON. Wetness. Let me tell you, in terms of wetness, and this is why I'm so happy that I got this. I would say that if that's a triple wet, that's a double wet, I would give it just a half more in terms of wetness. This is a medium, and in my view, is even wetter than the stub. And it's much wetter than the Legacy. Bounce. I get, again, not applicable. It's fairly stiff. Consistency, as I mentioned earlier, not an issue at all. 10 on 10. Okay, this pen, like the others, just writes in every direction that you want. Never hard starts. If it's got ink, it'll start up on you. Okay? Reverse writing. Yeah, probably the best of the three. And that gives you an extra fine. It's doable for those of you who really like those things. Now, what I want to do now is kind of pronounce myself. So what we'll do is we will sign final signature. Wow. Really nice. Wow. Let me tell you. Okay. Just fascinating. Fascinating how a pen can be so good. Beautiful. Now, in terms of value, okay, let me just get up here and just do so you can get them all in here. Okay. If you're going to consider value, it goes without saying that this giant Edson is extremely expensive. I don't know if Hemingway Jones has got anything to do with it, as he suggested once. You know, he went crazy over the pen, and he had it on his live show almost every week because he just loved it. And all of a sudden prices went up. I managed to find mine for a deal at an auction, North American pen auction. But, you know, it's not easy. You've got to really hunt. But it's over $1,000 right now. You can get the Survivor, the Waterman CARENE, in this black finish, which is the cheapest finish. It comes in brown, green, all kinds of colors, for about roughly $300 US, I would say to you, roughly, depending on the weeks. I got mine for I think 280, 280, 300 Canadian. Great deal. The SHEAFFER Legacy 2, I would say a little more than maybe $400 or $500, maybe even less if you're lucky. But again, you've got to catch it on some auction. And depending on the finish, you may be able to get. The important thing is to get it with that nib. Finish. If you go for the silver finish, it's going to cost you a lot more. But so, most expensive, number 2, and then the least expensive if you go with that black basic color. And if you look at strictly value, then your Edson is hard. It will be hard on it because it's $1,000. But if we remove from the picture value, here are my rankings. Number 3 would be my Legacy. Number 2 would be my CARENE, and my number 1 would be my Edson. In terms of writing, they're all very different, okay? Wetter, less wet, smoother feedback, quiet. But what makes the difference is the pen. The pen itself, you cannot compare this pen with the other two. No matter what finish the CARENE has or the Legacy, I think that the look on this thing is just the shape of it, the girth, the build quality is equivalent in all three, but it just the way it feels in your hand, you know you're holding quite a giant. Okay, of course, if you factor in price, I would say the number one would be your CARENE, the number two would be the Innovator, and the number three would be your EDSON. If money is not an object, which one would I recommend? The EDSON. If money is an object, I would recommend the CARENE over the Legacy. Okay? So that's about it, folks. I think I've said everything I need to say about these beautiful writing instruments. If you can afford it, get all three. It goes without saying. I think they're iconic. They're among the best writers I have. Okay? You know, it's nice to fool around with Chinese pens that cost you $60, $70. But when you write with this thing, it's hard to beat. And, you know, I don't think any of my Italian pens come close. Although my Dolce Vita Delta is a sentimental favorite, for all the reasons I've outlined to you many, many, many times. Probably the best pen in my heart. If I have to be logical, if I have to be technical, if I have to be objective, this is the one. This, for now, this is the best writer I have in my collection. So there you have it. The battle of the iconic Inlaid nibs has taken place. I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And you know what? Enjoy your pens, no matter what they cost. You know, this is fountain pen therapy for all of us, as I keep repeating. Enjoy your pens, and be well, and see you all soon. Ciao.